The Artemis 2 moon mission was quite literally a massive brainwashing event. And not only that, it's a repeated script from over 50 years ago. Essentially, the Artemis missions are nothing but a rerun of the Apollo moon landing missions, the original mass brainwashing event from the late 60s and early 70s. So the reason why they had the original Apollo moon landing mass brainwashing event was to convince man that man can walk on the moon. They want to convince humanity that the moon is nothing more than just a gray rock that can easily be conquered by man. So what they do is they get you to make the moon in your own head into a physical object that can be landed and walked upon by men. Not only that, they create an event where they can get far enough away from the Earth and take a picture and show you what your supposed home looks like. So it's not just that they're going to land on the moon. It's not about exploring the moon so much as creating an event where they can show you what the Earth looks like from outer space. Basically, in a nutshell, the whole reason for these mass brainwashing events is to get as many people as possible on board with believing in a fake reality. So the original Apollo missions are there to get you on board with the accomplishment that mankind supposedly walked on the moon, and they get you on board believing in the false reality that the Earth is a globe. So a whole lot of people weren't even alive to see the original moon landings, the original brainwashing event. So over 50 years later, they're rerunning the old script that they already ran. So if you didn't get brainwashed back then because you weren't alive back in the 60s and the 70s, they've got a new modern day brainwashing event for you, and that event is Artemis 2. Except this time, they didn't bother with the whole walking on the moon thing. So what they've done with this Artemis mission is get humanity to celebrate an accomplishment that was already achieved more than 50 years ago. So they reran an old script, and this time they do a lot less on the moon. They don't land on the moon. They don't drive a rover around on the moon. They don't play golf on the moon. They don't go bouncing around in their fancy little spacesuits on the moon. Oh no, this time they just do a flyby, and everybody celebrates like it's the same level of achievement as when they landed on the moon, supposedly, in 1969 through 1972. So guys, theoretically, NASA could, in 50 years, in 2075, NASA could rerun this same script again and just fly near the moon. And apparently, everyone would consider that an accomplishment and everyone would cheer. So as ridiculous as it might sound, to think 50 years from now, you might see NASA do this exact same script again, and everyone's gonna clap and cheer and act like it's some sort of achievement. Meanwhile, it's a rerun script. So there's this short film called Newsbenders, and I highly recommend everyone watch it. It basically outlines the process of how the news is scripted. For those of you who've seen it, you already know it is a highly truth-revealing short film where the whole process on how they dupe the public with fake scripted news, how the whole process goes down, and how the whole thing works. So if you haven't seen the short film Newsbenders, I highly, highly recommend that you check that out. And for those of you who have seen Newsbenders, and for those of you who know that the news is scripted ahead of time, then you know that the notion of them reusing an old script that they've already used successfully in the past would be highly likely. So if you were to to be involved in scripting the news. Just imagine you're involved in scripting the news ahead of time, and you have to come up with the nightly news, and you look in the past at what has worked and what hasn't worked. Wouldn't it be easy just to go ahead and rerun one of the old scripts that duped the people really easily? Wouldn't you go back and rerun the scripts that worked the best? And of course, if you don't believe in their brainwashing event, if you don't believe in their space fakery, they have an army of attack bots ready to call you a moron and a tard, among other things. And of course, if you find anything wrong with any of their photos or any of their videos, then somebody is going to come along and say, not only are you a moron, but you don't have any idea how cameras work. The amount of gaslighting right now is off the charts. So if you have a working brain and balls enough to speak the truth, you bet your ass you're going to get hit by these attack bots. So apparently, if you don't buy into NASA's fakery, if you don't believe what they're showing you, oh, well, it's because you don't know how cameras work. So therefore you must be a moron. So I'm getting essentially the same comments over and over again. That's how I know it's a troll bot farm that's showing up to my channel, repeating the same insults. And not only do they have these troll bots to gaslight anyone like myself who's telling the truth, they also are training the sheeple who do believe in the Artemis missions, who do believe in fake space, who do believe in the globe. They're training these sheeple to be attack dogs against guys like myself. So not only do they have hordes and hordes of attack bots ready to criticize you and insult you on social media if you dare say anything about NASA being fake, they also have professional globe cucks. That's right, professional globe defenders whose job it is to attack guys like me here on this platform, right? So if one of these professional globe defenders makes a video about me, of course they get artificially inflated, the algorithm pumps their video, they get tens of thousands of likes and all sorts of engagement, and they make it look like it's a socially acceptable thing to do to criticize and insult the free thinkers like myself who are telling the truth. And what really sucks, they have an excuse for everything. So there's no anomaly I can find, no blooper, no screw up that I'm gonna find that's gonna convince all the globe believers that they got duped into believing in a false reality. NASA always has an excuse. NASA has an excuse for everything. Anything wrong with their video that you find, any sort of little glitch that you point at, even the biggest, most major of glitches, where the green screen and the harness of the astronauts are clearly showing, they'll just say that's a compression artifact, and you're a moron who doesn't understand science. If you point at any of their images of Earth, and you point at anything that doesn't make sense, they have a built-in excuse. Oh, well, that's the camera settings. The reason you see stars in this picture, but not in other pictures, is because of the camera settings. Oh, the reason why the Earth is lit up, even though this is supposed to be the dark side of the Earth, is because it's lit up by moonlight. So they can come up with any excuse they want. And they know that the sheep are not only going to believe the excuse, but they're going to parrot the excuse to anyone like myself who has any sort of skepticism or questions about their images or their videos. So it doesn't matter how good of evidence I find that NASA is faking their space missions. They have an excuse for everything, and globe believers believe in all of NASA's excuses, and they parrot those excuses to anyone like myself trying to wake up their stupid ass. So really, when I make a video pointing out NASA's fakery, I know that my audience already knows that it's fake. So they're just going to agree with me. And then I know the globe believers who wholeheartedly believe in NASA's fakery, They're not going to listen to me. They're just going to say I'm a tard who doesn't know how cameras work and flunked science class. So who is it who can even be woken up anymore? How many people are on the fence with space being fake that can be woken up at this point? I really don't know. I feel like most people have already made up their mind. So any problem you have with any of NASA's photos or footage, they have an excuse that satisfies the majority of globe believers, and they know the majority of globe believers will parrot that excuse to you and insult you while looking down upon you if you have any questions or anything negative to say. So therefore, they've created this world where they can't be debunked because the majority of people believe in the fakery that they're given. They believe in the fakery that they're shown by NASA, and they're ready to parrot the excuses that NASA has meticulously come up with for anything that we find wrong. So they're sitting pretty. They know any mess up, any blooper can easily be written off as camera settings. And you just don't know how those camera settings work because you're some crazy weirdo who believes in a flat earth and you just don't know anything about cameras. That's why you think space is fake. It's not because they're lazy and their attempts at faking space suck way worse than Hollywood movies, right? It's not because they suck at faking it and you noticed. No. It's camera settings. And you're a moron for not knowing about how those camera settings work, according to them. So like I said, they've created this world where you can't even debunk them, no matter how bad their fake space missions are. Hey, if you guys are still here watching at this point, can you do me a favor? Hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed. And I want to thank you all for watching this video. It means a lot to me. And I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace.